Welcome to 5 Minutes, your quick dive into the wide-ranging world of insurance, technology, and leadership. I'm Miguel Edwards, and I'll be your guide as we explore these topics that are transforming not just the insurance industry, but the business world at large. Along with sharing observations I've made over the span of my career in insurance, technology, and operations, I'll be chatting with some of the brightest minds in business and leadership. Whether you're a seasoned executive or a rising star, an industry expert, or just curious about how technology is revolutionizing insurance, this is your perfect spot for your weekly dose of insights. This is 5 Minutes. Let's shift a little bit on the distribution front. So, what kind of trends in distribution are you seeing that are kind of beneficial or perhaps concerns, maybe potential headwinds that are out there? I know that a lot of folks are, on the carrier side are tracking a lot of consolidation in distribution. There is a little bit of a human capital crisis that's going on just in terms of as there's a changing of guards. Well, how do you see that affecting Bamboo going forward?
It's something we keep our eye on. We're aware of what's going on. If you would have asked this 3-4 years ago, I suspect the general consensus in the market, and it's been around forever, right, is, the agent's going to go away. The agent's going to go away. We're going to do this all digital, all online. Hopefully folks are all on the same page now. Like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Yes, there is a large and potentially growing segment of the population that is comfortable with purchasing online. Where we focus in the homeowner space, rental property space, the consumer wants to talk to somebody most of the time. They're happy getting a quote online, but then they want to go through that quote, understand the coverages with a live agent. Now, can that be a call center model? Yes. Does it have to be? Can it also be their network down the street at the local, small town Main Street shop? Absolutely. We typically see that the consumer likes to speak to somebody before closing the deal. It's great to get that quote. Okay, I understand kind of economically what my budget is. Does this fit in? But then going through, the various coverages, a couple examples with a live person. We do think that this is shifting, though, from it's not necessarily your neighborhood agent who you can walk into the office, but folks are comfortable with talking to the large kind of call center agency. And so that's a change that we're certainly aware of and embracing. And again, where we started, there's always going to be folks who are comfortable with the full digital experience, and we want to be able to serve them there. So from the beginning, we're omni-channel, and that's where we expect to stay.
Yeah, that jives with a lot of the research that we've done and we've seen. And it's interesting. We find that Gen Xers are actually more comfortable with a fully online transaction than millennials are, which is really interesting. And their buying behavior suggests more that they want to be able to access information on their own, do their own research, arrive at their own conclusion, but then have it validated by a professional with whom they make their actual ultimate purchasing decision, which is a fascinating trend.
And it's spot on. If I think about my own experience, I shopped 2 or 3 years ago when we moved and did exactly that. Quoted online, got a handful of things, and here, an educated insurance person, and still, okay, I want to talk to you. Let me understand specifically with your organization, how would this play out? How does this play out?
We are kind of sitting down waiting for an economic downturn. It seems it's everyone. All the pundits are talking about it's coming. But we still have this vacillating inflationary pressure that's coming up and down. But if you think about it and you chart the course toward the future, assuming that that there isn't necessarily going to be a quick solve to inflation, or assuming that there will be some type of economic downturn, what is Bamboo thinking about kind of more macroeconomically and how to prepare for any eventuality in that space?
Again, certainly aware of it. When we think of the market that we're operating in California today, and something that we are looking at in the future of where are disrupted markets. Where can we play best? Where we can play best is in those disrupted markets, dislocated markets like California. We are looking to go into Texas in 2025. Very similar from a peril perspective. Obviously, it's a little broader than just wildfire, but some of our technologies, again, the aggregation management, some of the underwriting tools on the back end, the APIs that fire real time, we think will play nicely in Texas. So we are not, to answer your question, while we're aware of it in the macro sense, when we think about the dislocated markets, it's not as big of an impact. What we are seeing, though, and I guess this is something that's emerged in the last, it's probably longer, but we're really tuned into it the last 4 weeks or so, is consumers opting for less coverage. Someone who is truly extremely price sensitive,
right?
Or maybe on a fixed income, that $1,700, $1,800 insurance payment for the year, like that's it. They can't go up when you see California rate increases. It's not atypical now to see a 25, 35% rate increase. It might take 6-9 months to get it through the department, but that's kind of where things are at. And so with those rate increases, the consumers are really looking for what are my options? So a scaled back, there's been a number of new E&S players in the market who are offering, I call it coverage light options to reduce the annual premium.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.